It's time to lay out your beach towels and enjoy the sunshine. Today we're playing 2022's Maui, courtesy of VR Distribution. This is a game for 2 to 4 players, where each player is collecting towel tokens and arranging them in matching patterns to score the most points. Joining me tonight is Jim Dowling, a local game store veteran of Melbourne. Jim, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Liam.
I'm glad you can be here. I wanted to sort of show you this game, but also having played Magic for the last 10 years, playing a lot of stores in Melbourne, you're a very familiar face. But also for 5 or 8, there's been multiple events that we've filmed at that you've been involved in as well.
That's true. I think I saw you filming at, there was the Catan State Championships. There was some Magic events out in Ringwood that I think I saw you at as well. Yeah.
So it's a big part of the scene. Basically what we're going to be doing today while we're chatting is we're playing this game where we're taking tiles from the market, for different costs, free $1, $2, and placing them on our board to try and have matching pattern store points and collect pearls. And while we're collecting those pearls, we're trying to have a chat and sort of get some pearls of wisdom from you about the Melbourne game scene. I have been to the beach latest, so I'm going to go first.
Right on.
But Jim, I'm going to ask you, can you tell me a little bit about your involvement in sort of the local game store scene in Melbourne and what you do?
Yeah, so I've been working in local game stores since 2012, I want to say. Lots of various ones around the state, lots of different franchises over time. And from there, I also got into judging for Magic the Gathering. So you could see me at interstate events, not quite international events as of yet, especially with the pandemic of the last some number of years, but hoping to get into some international events soon. Outside of that also, though, I've been involved in organising nationals level play for a number of different game systems, including Star Wars X-Wing, Star Wars Destiny. I was a banker at the 2015 Australian Monopoly Championships. You name it, basically. There's not very many front counters at game stores that I haven't stepped behind and worked at, basically.
One thing to note with the tile placement is there's little rocks or stones at the top, which is our orientation of our tiles. Mine's face up, Jim's are down the bottom. We cannot swap those around. And we move along the track based on here, the further out you are, the more points you can jump across, but you go too far, you get negative points. So I've got 2 matching tiles, so I'll move those along. So can you tell me a little bit how you think the sort of scene has changed during your time? Has it changed at all? Is it, what's sort of been happening? I'll move those along too.
Look, the board game scene has absolutely exploded over the past 10 years, honestly, more so in the last 5. It used to be that you had to sort of go looking to find people playing board games at a shop in person, but now it's just everywhere, and as well as so many local clubs popping up, people playing in halls and pub tables. Even with all that said, role-playing games have grown even bigger than board games, which has been the real surprise for me. I think a lot of that came from some pop culture references that came out and really marketed these role-playing games to a wider audience. As for trading card games, though, it's been an interesting shift with the tension between paper play and online play, but I think if the last 6 months have shown anything, people really want to get out and play in person again, which is really cool. We've hit the competitive season for Magic the Gathering again, so I'm out and about pretty much every weekend, every month, working events and making sure that people have fun and play within the rules and all that sort of thing. I'll take this one and get a pearl here. So you missed out on your pearl.
I did.
Mine.
You got some bonus points for collecting them.
Skipping that pearl. Oh no.
Well, I guess having worked at numerous game stores throughout your career, I guess 2 things I wanted to sort of ask you about. The first is, a lot of people who like games might, they might be just buying stuff from Target or from, something like Games World in a shopping centre, and they might be a bit steered about going into a game store where they might see a lot of people playing D&D or Magic, and it's a bit rowdy and it's getting better, but lots of guys in there as well sometimes. What do you say to people like that? Is there anything you can say to sort of?
Look, you can try to find groups on Facebook. There's a lot of board game clubs, some that run out of stores, some that run out of community halls. But also stores are improving in their inclusivity. I know that there's a couple of stores that I'm personally involved in that care a lot about having representation in their staff, in their player bases, in making sure that everyone is comfortable and everyone is welcome. We don't want to have this lovely industry be stifled by gatekeeping and that sort of thing. We try to keep it open and accessible for everyone. And so you placed your last one now. We finish out the turn order because you went first. Is that right?
So you got your final turn.
Yeah. Don't really need to get this yellow one. So is there a blue and pink? Not really. I've got $0, so I can pick blue or pink. Let's go with blue. Why not? Finish up in the center. So I'll get a match on the blue. All right. Scoring.
Yes. Well, that was Maui, which is a sort of a nice little, sort of leisurely set collection game. I think you kind of need them sometimes. You get a little bit bored of Ticket to Ride, perhaps. Want something else?
Yeah. It seemed really simple, straightforward, easy to learn.
Which is not something I'm always going to be drawing for, but sometimes you're like, Azul can get, like, it's a similar game in the same realm as Azul, but Azul, I think, gets way more cutthroat than this.
Yep.
So there's nothing wrong with having a nice little filler game.
Definitely.
I was also very nice to talk to you about the local scene and how you've been a part of it, and I look forward to seeing more events coming up. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.